Hey, crypto and Bitcoin traders, we got the most likely scenario that we were anticipating from last video with the 4-hour equilibrium. It has now broken bullish. Bulls are in control of the short term. Let's zoom out and see the most likely scenario from here. So when we last checked in, we were looking for a 4-hour lower high. We were watching the EMA resistance, and we were talking about if we made it to the EMA resistance, we would be scouting an equilibrium because the bounce would be significant enough. And then when the most likely scenario takes place and starts playing out, that's when I take a break from uploading videos because there's nothing to update. The most likely scenario took place. We bounced. We set a 4-hour lower high at 3660, 36,600. We pulled back. We established a 4-hour higher low. It was a little bit of a double bottom, 32,500. We broke it, knocked out a couple stop losses, and then that marked our 4-hour higher low. And then here is our bull break. So 4-hour confirmed trend change. What does that mean? It means we zoom out. Anything under 42,000 is just a daily lower high. The more likely scenario, in my opinion, is to form a daily lower high compared to 42,000 and to tighten up within this daily range through the weekend. What's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. That seems about right. So what do we need to see the less likely scenario take place for a bull break to a new all-time high? You have to see a ramp up in bull volume. Without that notable increasing bull volume, it's just not going to happen. Likewise, what would be needed to see the unlikely scenario of a confirmed daily downtrend? Same thing, massive increasing bear volume. In the absence of notable bull volume in either direction, equilibrium becomes the most likely scenario, just like it was on the 4-hour time frame. So, all about 42,000. We have short-term guides. We have an hourly uptrend to be watching for a higher low next time we consolidate. Anything above 32,300 will be a 4-hour higher low. When we lose the 4-hour uptrend, that is one of our first signals of the potential that our daily lower high is being set. We now have a massive base of support established in the 30 to 33,000 range. A ton of coins have traded and changed hands between that level. I guess 30 and 36 at this point. So 30 and 36, you have all this volume on the way up, all this volume on that consolidation, which was even more significant. That is now our short-term line in the sand. If the bulls are going to keep complete control on this run, 30,000 needs to hold. If we're going to see any weekly consolidation, 30,000 would need to break. We're in a pattern of a higher low every single week. It's currently a weekly inside bar. And if we don't break that pattern, then obviously we don't see any weekly consolidation. So congrats to the bulls. There were bulls that were aggressively scaling into the 4-hour higher low and putting a stop under 30,000. I personally was not one of them. I already had a comfortable core position. I did want to buy a bull break here of 36,500, and I had my market buy order all set, and then I started answering some questions on Twitter, and I looked back, and we were at 36,900, and I said, darn, I missed it. But that's just a style of trade where I buy into the bull momentum, and that would just be a day trade. You know, I'd buy at 36,500 with a market buy, and I would scale out 36.8, 36,999, 37.2, and I would just lock in a day maker while my core swing position, while I hold on to that, and while it continues to go up as well. So someone on Twitter owes me money. I'm just kidding. So we've got bulls in control. Nice recovery, little reset button, and we can absolutely see new all-time highs from here. Again, I do think we tighten up a little bit more on the daily. For those that have missed this move, you can be looking for an entry on a 4-hour higher low, with your exit being a loss of the 4-hour uptrend if you want to keep a tight stop. Others are going to wait for a daily higher low entry with playing off of 30,000. Everything's going to be based around 30,000 support at this point. Dominance chart is going up with that break. Look at the 5-minute time frame showing us the focus is on Bitcoin here. We're still in an equilibrium. So we've got our high, low, lower high, and higher low. So tightening up sideways. And again, this is showing us that as far as the aggregate of the altcoin space is concerned, there's not much difference between altcoins and Bitcoin over the last couple of days. And there's a difference in Bitcoin over the last 30 minutes, but not much is changing until we get a break of this tightening range. It's entirely possible that we stay tightening inside this tightening range while the daily chart of the US dollar pairings tighten as well. One thing is for sure, if we do not break support and see further weekly consolidation, there's no alt season. Could this be a weekly higher low and the Bitcoin dominance continues strong? If Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, absolutely. We know Bitcoin at all-time highs means it gets the attention. And this is a very healthy weekly chart. There's nothing saying that we can't set a weekly higher low in this dominance chart and see that attention stay on Bitcoin. ETH/USD has not broken 4-hour bullish yet. So best case for the bulls on ETH/USD would be seeing some laggard action. And I'm curious to see if, once we top out and tighten up, maybe on the 15-minute time frame for Bitcoin, if then we see ETH/USD break 1150. But as of right now, we're still within an equilibrium. So we have to break 1150, and then the same thing as Bitcoin. We then scout a daily lower high compared to 1351 and a tightening daily range into and potentially through the weekend as the most likely scenario. So again, one more thing to point out. Let's go to ETH/BTC first. ETH/BTC is weak. It's in a daily equilibrium, but it's near support. So again, we're not seeing ETH gain any strength against Bitcoin, and we have to stick to these charts as far as who to be focusing on. And unless this chart breaks bullish, well, I take that back. I might be interested. I was about to say, unless this chart breaks bullish, I'm not interested in trading ETH over BTC. But there is a possible scenario here very shortly where ETH/BTC holds this low and starts a bounce, and ETH/USD sees this laggard 4-hour bull break. So that is worth paying attention to over the next 4 or 6 hours to see if it acts as a laggard to follow on the 4-hour time frame to what Bitcoin has already done. What else was I going to say? Oh, recognizing the ranges. So we know the most opportunity as traders is when there's the most volatility. And the most volatility is this move up and this move down. That's as volatile as it gets, at least recently. As after that happens, and as soon as we start tightening up on the 4-hour time frame, this is your signal to be pumping the brakes. You do not want to be trading as aggressively during tightening sideways ranges as during open ranges. So I traded my most active weekend of cryptocurrency when ETH was breaking out. Bitcoin was doing this, but ETH was breaking out. And then I traded the bounces actively. And then I didn't really do much at all as we tightened up. There was definitely opportunity for a higher low entry, but just want to highlight being able to recognize tightening ranges and breaks of tightening ranges for when to pump the brakes and when to be a bit more aggressive. So again, we're watching now tightening daily ranges, and we will be looking for shifting the... Right now it's aggressive, but if we tighten up and set a daily lower high and then pull back, we know to pump the brakes again and then wait for the break of the daily tightening range to pump the gas again. I'm not going to highlight all the altcoins because, again, nothing's really standing out notable. DOT is one that stood out. We'll look at that in just a second, but Sushi USD stands out. Why? Daily bull break of 504. Not convincing at the moment, but a double bottom at 324 and 318 and then a bull break. What matters most to me if I am looking at an altcoin, and the first thing I do in the chat room, if somebody posts anything about an altcoin, the first thing I'm doing is looking at the BTC pair. And Sushi BTC had a beautiful equilibrium break bullish yesterday. Any Bitcoin pairing in a daily uptrend should be on this side of paying attention to, and any name that is not in a daily uptrend should be over here. They need to be distinguished because it's very different setups based on the trend of the BTC pairing. So .BTC is seeing a big time bull move today. It's only a 1-day bull move, and if we reject from resistance, we might stay range bound, but that definitely led to some nice opportunity on the US dollar pairing on a day like today where we go up 30+%. So keep an eye on those BTC pairings. The DeFi space standing out for their relative strength against Bitcoin the past 2 days. And we'll be watching the hourly uptrend, the 4-hour uptrend, and volume. So the daily volume today is going to be a bit higher because the volume of the 4-hour bull break is taking place. If we see higher volume tomorrow and a green day compared to today, absolutely going to stand out to me and increase the odds that we could just go straight to a new all-time high. If it's less volume than today, sticking with the most likely scenario being a daily lower high and tightening range. And let's look at the other side of the coin, pun intended. If you're in a long position now and you're comfortable and you got some nice entries and you took profit on the way up and re-entered some positions, you can be looking to hedge those long positions by entering a short and top fishing the high. Say we make our way up to 39.5 and I could make a bearish entry at 39.5 and put my stop over the all-time high. And if we get that daily lower high and tightening range, then I certainly benefit by protecting my long position from the pullback. So only if you're experienced with shorting and with hedging, but there is a hedging opportunity approaching if we don't see increasing bull volume. Another scenario, let's talk about headlines. We haven't seen many headlines recently. One positive headline is I forget the title, SEC, I guess the chairman, SEC chairman, pro crypto. The fact that he went to a crypto event, that alone speaks volumes. Very notable, increases the probability of an ETF, which would be bullish and increase exposure. Right now, GBTC is traded on the OTC, which means a lot of people can't use stop losses on my broker, can't put a stop loss on GBTC, and it's just a different environment as far as volume. We're trading a lot of volume, but if you get an ETF on the NYSE or the NASDAQ, trying to think of an example real quick. I mean, the Canadian MJ space is an example, the MJ space in general. Canadian MJ, due to laws and regulations, can be traded on the NASDAQ and NYSE. CGC is on the NASDAQ. Its average daily volume right now over the last 20 days is $170 million traded. You go to some of the larger volume being traded on the USMJ names, which are unable to uplist because of laws and rules, which are changing, but they're stuck to the OTC, where GBTC is stuck. And the 160 million, the average volume here is 22 million. It's night and day difference. So if you have an ETF that is listed on a higher exchange for Bitcoin, the dollar volume will be very impressive. And it will be definitely bullish for the space as a whole. More avenues for traditional money to get involved. Other than that, potential headlines, we know that there's more companies and more big bajillionaires building positions. And they release their information about their positions after they've already been established. I wouldn't be surprised, and that's a potential catalyst to be keeping an eye out for. Potential headlines around, hey, we have this position now entering on consolidation. Perhaps, some big money loading up during this 30 to 36 range. Certainly a lot of opportunity to establish some large positions in there. We know the holy grail of short-term headlines would be Musk or Tesla as far as maximum hype. So for me, that's an automatic all-in headline if that comes out. And then I'll manage it from there. Maybe I'll sell half into the initial hour of strength so I'm comfortable, but I will go all in as soon as that headline comes out because that will create some big-time FOMO. But just keeping an eye out for headlines because, again, I do expect that those will continue trickling in as more and more people build their positions and then tell the world about them once they're already in. You're not going to be looking to build a $100 million position and once you have $10 million, tell people that because that's going to make the price go higher and it's going to make your average higher as well. Congrats to the bulls. Increasing 4-hour bull volume is nice. We'll see how long that can keep up. And a wave of relief for the Bulls. I hope you're well. Do good things. We'll continue to check in. And I will certainly check in if tomorrow starts to shape up to be the lesser likely scenario of the potential of a continuation move straight to all-time highs. My game plan, continue riding my long-term no touch, continue riding my core Bitcoin where I did drop that average. Right now, my account's at all-time highs because of that drop and because of some short-term trading. But I will, for the most part, constantly be keeping a good bit of cash to capitalize on shorter-term day trading opportunities and dumps like the one that we just saw. See you next time.